Welcome in to the Titans Game Day Show here on the AtoZSports YouTube channel. I am Easton Freese, he is JT Runke, and we are excited today because it is International Freedom from the Titans regular season day. For all of those who celebrate, Merry Freedom Day to you. It's kind of our own little Titans fan Independence Day. As much as I hate wishing away actual football, I think that in general, we all fail to live in the moment for the most part. I hate when people start to talk about the draft for their team, like in October. But there are some circumstances in life that simply break a man's spirit. And this season, I'll admit, at times, has been one of them. It has been a drag for us all. It is going to be over in just a couple of hours, and we will be on to the offseason where, JT, you cannot lose. You can kind of lose, actually. I guess you could just have a terrible offseason in the eyes of many. But generally speaking, it is much harder to lose in the offseason. And the Titans have a very, 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 very big one on the horizon. Obviously, the coaching search coming up here in just a couple of days. Well, I think they may even be sending some invitations out today to folks that coached yesterday. They'll be sending out invitations tomorrow to folks that are coaching today. They may have already invited Mike McCarthy, who's just hanging around, who they're going to interview in the first round. So, and then we'll get into free agency and the draft, and we'll have a merry old time. I can't wait. It's going to be a great time. We're going to crush the offseason here at AtoZSports.com. But we do have one game left to play, and we shouldn't completely ignore it because it is yet another significant data point on the Cam Ward and fellow young player trend line lists. Like, this matters, and finishing strong for this team matters. Now, they are nearly 14-point underdogs on the road in Jacksonville. Jacksonville has everything in the world to play for because they could finish today as the AFC number 1 seed if some things go right. More importantly, they need to win this game if they want to secure the AFC South crown. So they're going to be guns a-blazing. The Titans are going to be giving it their all and leaving it all on the field. We'll talk through some inactives. We will talk through keys to the game. We will talk to you through the things to root for today, a little rooting guide action. There's a lot going on around the league outside of just Tennessee and Jacksonville that you need to pay attention to. We'll get to some bets. We'll get to some score predictions. A whole lot to get to, JT, in the next 27 minutes. But before we do any of it, I need you to tell the folks what they need to do.
Yeah, welcome in, guys. Like you said, we've made it. Everyone that is here, I am appreciative of all of you guys being here. I'm honestly, my expectations have been exceeded. I thought maybe 3 people would show up today because what are you doing on a Sunday morning in week 18, right, tuning into a Titans pregame show? But we appreciate you being here.
You know what these folks are? They're not quitters. And I respect folks that aren't quitters. We're not quitters around here.
And as Bork says, the B team closing it out for week 18, much like the Titans safety secondary group in general. We are basically the culmination of that as well. We represent that. Are
we that bad? It's kind of an insult. I don't know.
I guess, I mean, hey, there's a little bit of self-deprecation here as we look back fondly on this season. But long story short, listen, I'm looking in the camera right now. I am proud of all of you. Which
camera am I at? This one right here? Camera B?
Which one? This one right here? I'm proud of all of you guys here that we've made it. And you should be happy that you've made it this far because now, as someone said, it's time to heal. It's time to, whether you agreed with our takes, disagreed with our takes, we're all on the same side now. We're looking to the future for this team, but we have to get through one more game, more game. And that's what we're doing right here. So if you guys could please help us out by hitting that like button on YouTube. Make sure you hit subscribe as well so you don't miss any of the content that's going to come fast the next couple of days when the coaching, like you said, coaching search, as soon as you know it, will be Senior Bowl and Combine and the draft and whatnot. It's going to be a wild offseason. So if you can hit that subscribe button and also like the show. If you're watching on Facebook as well, we appreciate you guys watching over there. Hit that like button, like the show, and share the show with a friend who wants to get in here one more time. We got like a 50% like ratio, 50% ratio right now. Got to get that up.
Need more.
Do your part to send off this Titans season. And with that, Easton, let's get rolling.
All right, welcome in to the AtoZSports Game Day Show. We are sponsored by X Golf in Nashville, Murfreesboro, Hermitage, and Franklin. They are the home of indoor golf in Middle Tennessee. X Golf, play, train, entertain. Go to playxgolf.com for more. BTA Sports, use code ATOZ14 when you download the BTA Sports app today to get a 14-day free trial before a weekly subscription of $9.99. Use the link in the show description below. Botero Carts, life is short, so buy a golf cart with 2 locations to serve you in Columbia and Gallatin. BoteroCarts.com is where you can find them. Lipscomb University's Sport Analytics program is turning sports fans into data-driven decision makers in the exciting world of professional athletics. The Barrel Social Club, real poker, real players, the Barrel Social Club, Kentucky and Tennessee's poker destination, and TDOT's Nobody Trashes Tennessee campaign. Be part of the solution to end littering and make sure nobody trashes Tennessee by visiting NobodyTrashesTennessee.com. JT, the inactives list came out 90 minutes before kickoff, as it does. Some unsurprising ones, if you've been paying attention to the Titans injury situation this week. Starting safety Amani Hooker is down, as is rookie tight end Gunnar Helm. And then some unsurprising, and Arden Key, another guy that you would otherwise expect to see out there on most weeks. The rest is guard Drew Moss, guard Garrett Dellinger, and tackle Brandon Crenshaw-Dixon. So some guys that have been inactive regulars. That means a couple of irregular active guys are active today, such as tight end Cole Turner. Welcome to the squad, Cole Turner. Don't ask me anything about Cole Turner. And safety Jarek Reed. As we pointed out at the top of the show, the Titans are 13.5-point underdogs in this game. Before we talk about the game itself and what the Titans could show us, what we want to see the Titans show us, let's dive into what this week means for the Titans beyond just a otherwise meaningless Week 18 game. Here's a graphic for your viewing pleasure. The Titans currently sit in the 4th spot in the NFL draft order in the gaggle of 3 and 13 teams. You'll notice that they are still just 3 1/1000ths of a strength of schedule decimal point ahead of the Arizona Cardinals. More on that in a second. But if the Titans were to win today, the worst they could do, quote unquote worst, is 7th in the draft. You can't win more than 4 games, and there's only 7 teams with 4 or fewer wins right now. So they could drop to 7th. Arizona, Cleveland, and Washington are the teams that would need to lose today for them to drop to 7th. The Cardinals are big underdogs to the Rams. The Commanders are slight underdogs to the Eagles, who have a questionable reason to actually try today. And then the New Orleans Saints are feisty underdogs, I would say, to the Atlanta Falcons today. The Shuck Train looking to get, what would this be, 5 in a row? So certainly, oh wait, I don't know why I'm reading about New Orleans. They have 6 wins. Excuse me. I skipped Cleveland in there. Cleveland is big fat underdogs to your Cincinnati Bengals, JT. So all of that being said, for every loss the Cardinals, Browns, and Commanders have today would mean one more spot down the order for the Titans from 4 down to 7, if and only if the Titans win the game. If they lose the game, they can rise as high as the 2nd overall pick, even if the Raiders, who have the 1st overall pick right now, the only team with only 2 wins so far, if they were to win against the Chiefs today, which is possible, their strength of schedule is still far out of bounds for the Titans to be worse than or better than, however you look at it. And so even if all went to plan, they would still at most be in the 2nd overall slot. But that would require both New York teams, the Giants and the Jets, to win their games. And the Giants play the Cowboys. They're a field goal underdog, so there's a decent chance that that happens. And if the Titans lost, that would probably bump them up a spot to 3. The Jets are big fat underdogs to the Buffalo Bills. And last I checked, they're still playing Missouri legend, what's his face? I'm already forgetting his name. Brady Cook, thank you. So unless God himself intervenes, I'm not sure how that one will go the Jets' way. The Titans could lose and not move from 4, which is probably the most likely outcome if we're doing percentages today. But they could also lose and drop a spot anyways because of how close their strength of schedule is to the Cardinals. And that's where we take our attention to the left side of your screen right now. This is the rooting guide for the Titans' strength of schedule to remain better than the Cardinals, or worse than the Cardinals, above the Cardinals. And those stars are the importance of these games. I actually have not seen this with my own eyes, so I'm taking Austin's word for this, because apparently this is where he saw this on Tankathon. I think each star counts. You need 6 of these total stars. No, you need 3 of these total 6 stars to maintain your status above the Cardinals today. So, in other words, you need the Bengals to beat the Browns, and then one of these other 4 games to go your way. The Falcons, the Cowboys, the Packers, or the Dolphins to win. All of that being said, a ton of information. These 5 games over here, as long as they're not a majority upset today, you're going to be all right, and you should maintain your spot above the Cardinals, which is why, in conclusion, if the Titans lose today, the odds are they will maintain their 4th position. Maybe the Giants pull an upset over the Cowboys. If so, they would probably bump up to 3rd in the draft order. So 3 or 4 is your most likely landing destination. Could be as high as 2 and as low as 7. JT, your thoughts?
Yeah, I think you're win or lose, you're in a good position right now. We've watched over the past couple of weeks the type of caliber of talent that you're going to have there. I think you feel pretty good because of the different needs that you have. Like, this is, I think, going to end up being a draft where, like, if the wide receiver is gone, no worries. That means one of these top tier edge rushers is there. If vice versa, if one of the edge rushers is gone, which I don't think has happened. There's too many good players that we'll get into that are maybe on borderline blue chip prospects here that are not quarterbacks that you can't really go wrong. And so, I think even if they would to win and everything go not their way and they end up 7th, you're in a fine spot, right? And so I think you're going into this game, obviously hoping. I think the upside, I think if you're a Titans fan, kind of multicasting this game and watching it just on the side of your TV and wanting to watch something else.
No one's doing that, I'm sure. I'm sure everyone is glued to this game alone.
I think the big one there, right, is the Giants. I think you could easily, if you're rooting for a game to go your way the most, I think just getting a Giants win and having them drop like that, which is something that the Giants always seem to do anyways on the last game of the season, which is ruin their draft stock and make things harder for their team. I think that has a good shot. But then also, yeah, you're pretty much, I don't want to talk in guarantees, but like,
right,
I have a really good feeling that the Bengals are going to finish on a high note here and get that win. So that's 2 stars. And then, yeah, you really have to look at that. I believe like your other best shot there is rooting for Atlanta over the Saints, because in a perfect world, right, you have Dallas win, and then that keeps the Giants obviously there, but you keep your spot over there. So it's kind of a win-win no matter what if they lose. Now, if they win this game today, which 13.5 point underdog, right? So it's going to be an interesting one. But the Titans, I don't think are, I mean, we've seen this before. These 2 teams love to spoil each other's off-season or postseason implications every single time. That's why I think today's going to be a really interesting one. But I think win, lose, draw, whatever, I think you're going to be fine in terms of draft order. There's nothing that right now.
Imagine Mike McCoy landing on a tie. What a poetic finish that would be.
It would be a dream. Yeah, win, lose, or draw. I don't think you can really do enough damage to take you out of a blue chip kind of prospect.
Agreed. One late addition to the rooting guide here from our boy Jimmy in the comments on Facebook.
Yes.
Rooting for the Ravens. The Ravens-Steelers is the finale to the NFL regular season tonight on Sunday Night Football, and winner gets into the playoff as the winner of the kind of dismal AFC North. The loser goes home, and then we talk for the next 7 days about whether or not they're going to fire their blue blood coach, which will be an interesting conversation. But if the Ravens win, the Titans' conditional trade, Draymond Jones, sent before the deadline to the Ravens, will turn from a 5th-round pick into a 4th-round pick. So that's an upgrade for them. Daniel Caribbean, transitioning us to our next topic here, says that Cam throws 4 touchdowns and the Titans win. He's not going to be mad. Neither will I. One, because that'd be an awesome way to I mean, if we got a big Cam Ward crescendo at the end of the year, that'd be really exciting. Also, kind of a peek behind the curtain, from a content standpoint, taking my Titans fan hat off and my content hat, putting it on, I kind of would rather them have like the 6th or 7th pick in the draft than the 3rd or the 4th, because there's a lot more to talk about when they have that pick. But we'll make it work either way. It's not the first pick, so it's going to be different. It's not a surefire, situation like you have at number 1. That brings us to our X Golf X Factors, and we now, 14 and a half minutes into the show, will actually talk about the game at hand. We'll ask the question to those of you in the chat, who or what will be the X Golf X Factor for the Titans to win in upset fashion at the Jacksonville Jaguars today, who are what will be the X-Golf X Factor for the Titans to pull off the upset today. While you all are answering that on Facebook and on YouTube and liking the show while you're at it, let me tell you about our friends over at X-Golf. They have locations in Nashville, Murfreesboro, Hermitage, and now in Franklin. We love X-Golf because this time of year, if you are a golfer like I am, it is not the best golfing conditions outside. The grass, the temperature, the wind. It's a lot more fun to take a bay in an X-Golf location, pick your favorite golf course around the world, and go and see if you can handle Pebble Beach or wherever it is you're wanting to play for a whole lot cheaper than actually getting out there, I might add. We love X-Golf. You will as well. They have reinvented the player experience by creating the most accurate indoor golf simulators on the market today. They give every person the power to take on those top golf courses in the world and compete in a wide variety of game formats, improving their swing with lessons and superior analytics, all while being totally entertained. Again, Nashville, Murfreesboro, Hermitage, and in Franklin. Wherever you are in Middle Tennessee, there's a location near you. Check them out today at xgolf.com.
Yeah, let's hit the comment section here, which, by the way, kind of telling on myself, was not absolutely ready to put the question into the chat. I appreciate you guys just going and doing that anyways, but let's get to some of these here. Also, Nando says, what are the Jags playing for? They have to play to win the division. Like they are not Correct. Just kind of mailing this in, because if they lose, they in the Texans win against the Fighting Riley Leonards today up there in Indy, which, by the way, also the Fighting Riley Leonards of mediocrity, with Chris Ballard potentially maybe sticking around after this season.
Unreal. That's a possibility.
Yeah, it is going to be interesting. So they have a lot to play for today. Like, they need to win to secure the AFC South today. And with that, the X factor for ruining that for the Jacksonville Jaguars today, they're also playing for the 1 seed. Cap says the offensive line play, ending on a good note. We obviously talked about how, through the first, 10 weeks of the season, Cam Ward was getting sacked almost 3 times a game on average. Yep. Since then, it's been a lot better here for the Tennessee Titans offensive line. So getting them as an X factor would be good. B-Bird says, Pollard, get that man his money. He does have some incentives to work for today. Nolan says the X factor is simple. It's Cam Ward. Jake says the X factor is Mike McCoy. In what fashion? I'm not sure, but just the fact that he is Mike McCoy. Let's what Mike McCoy are we going to send out there into the sunset today? Chig is an X factor to King Titan there. Creating turnovers is an X factor, says John. Clean pocket and Cam not drifting out of the pocket is an X factor for Nightshades. The X factor is Jags turnovers. Lawrence regressing to his mean. Certainly we'll be rooting for that, as you are the Trevor Lawrence truther here. Special teams is the X factor for 10 Titan. The Titans running game, once again, trying to get Tony Pollard that money. A lot of different ones today. Easton, do you have one in mind?
Well, to the point of Tony Pollard's incentives, he has 2 $250,000 incentives today. If he rushes for 66 or more yards, he will make a $250,000 bonus. And if he rushes for 2 touchdowns, he will get a $250,000 bonus. So something to keep in mind when we get to our bets, our props here in just a second. My X factor is for the Titans offense to have their most efficient day of the year. Because as we talked about last week, and really for the past, 6 weeks or so, I have no expectations for the defense at all. They are a skeleton crew. It is Jeffrey Simmons and a couple other nice pieces, and that's it. It's really bad. And the Jacksonville Jaguars offense is really quite good. And a lot like last week against the Saints, I just don't see the Titans defense getting more than 1 or 2 opportunistic stops, to be honest with you. And if that's going to be the case, then the Titans offense needs to finish on a high note. Now, I do have expectations for the Titans offense because the Jaguars defense is quite good. Let's not undersell them either. But they aren't the Seahawks or the Texans, which the Titans have played this year. And this game that the Titans and Jaguars played the first time this year, which was about a month ago now, that was kind of a low point for the Titans on offense. They scored 3 points, 6 points? I forget.
They did. It was the we quit on Mike McCoy week.
That's right. The offensive line in particular kind of points to that game as a turning point for them. And they're a better group today than they were at that low point of the season. They need to show that today. And somebody in the comments asks, what do you mean, Easton, by the offense being the most efficient? What does that mean? It means you need to move the ball pretty much every time you have it, and you need to, when you cross midfield, turn that into points. No more crossing midfield and getting no points like you've done so many times this year. And then when you enter the red zone, those need to be touchdowns. That's the efficiency I'm talking about. And last week, the Titans were not quite doing that. They were moving the ball pretty well, but they weren't consistent at the end of the game when they needed it. And they weren't turning enemy territory into points and red zones into touchdowns instead of threes. So that's what has to change today if they're going to win. Spoiler, I like the over in this game. It's 46.5 last I checked. I think that the Jaguars are going to score 30-plus points on this Titans defense, to be honest with you. And I think if the Titans are going to hang, they're going to have to score in that same territory. So that adds up to a lot more than 46 points. JT, what is your X factor in this one?
Yeah, my X factor is going to be along the same lines in terms of the offensive production of one player in particular. I think you would like to see. I want to see a Chimere Dike send-off game in this to put a capitalized note on his rookie season. He's a guy that I think has really shown up and shown out for this team. I'd also like to see Chimere Dike maybe rip one more off for good measure. We've seen the
kick to him, cowards.
Yeah, we've seen the special teams unit kind of fall off in that sense because of just not getting the opportunities and hasn't. I guess that is one way that it has regressed to the mean, but seeing a productive day from Chimere Dike, because I think there is a conversation to be had about where Chimere Dike fits into the grand scheme of things for the Titans next season. Is he good enough to be that wide receiver 2? Is he more so going to excel in a wide receiver 3 role? I want to find out what truly he can be for this Titans team next year. And if he has a day like I am asking him to have against this Jacksonville secondary, it could end up being the kind of icing on the cake to say this is a legitimate guy who can be your wide receiver 2 going into next year.
All right, 8 minutes to kick off. We've got some bets to place. We've got some predictions to make. First, let me tell you about our friends over at BTA Sports. All of our shows here on the AtoZSports YouTube channel are brought to you by BTA Sports. We love them because they help us make smarter bets. You can use code ATOZ14 or the link in the description below. I recommend the link. It's very easy. Download the BTA Sports app on your phone, and you'll get a 14-day free trial when using that link. And then it's just a weekly subscription of $9.99. So use that link for smarter bets, no guesswork. It's where insight meets instinct. It's for those who bet with a purpose. We've been using them all year long to make money. They are not a sports book. This is not like a BetMG. I'm gonna, join us and use our promo code to get bonus bets. No, they are actively trying to win money against the books, just like you are. And their data-driven picks, tools, and projections are built for serious fans and smart bettors. So again, use that link in the description below and sign up at BTA Sports. JT, BTA has informed us on one big bet today, and then I've got some that I've placed on my own. But what does BTA love in Titans-Jaguars?
Yeah, well, they love the Titans to cover this 13.5-point spread. Last time, it's no secret that the Titans got pretty whooped up by the Jags at home. But the second time around, this team is playing a lot better than they were the first time they faced the Jacksonville Jaguars. And we know that in this game, both teams are going to be trying to either on the Jaguars make a statement and win that division. The Titans are going to absolutely try to derail the Jags season at the buzzer here. And I think that is why BTA Sports really does like the Titans to keep it closer than that 13.5-point spread, especially in a divisional game. That a spread like that in a game where, you look at games like the Packers and the Vikings, where the Packers are resting everybody. This is a totally different type of situation. The Titans aren't really holding anybody back really for this game that isn't injured. I think they're going to go out there and they're going to give it all. Jack also brings up it is the Bryce Oliver legacy game today as well.
That's right.
So what do we see from him in week 18? But I think the Titans, with the way their offense is played, I think this is still a gettable Jags defense. And that's why I think BTA Sports really does like the 13.5.
I'm on them as well. Here's a couple of prop bets that I've placed, and I've placed them individually and also turned it into a 10-1 parlay. I like Tony Pollard over 67.5 rush yards. That's for an obvious reason. He needs to get 66 to get that incentive, and I think the Titans are going to give him every opportunity today, even if they're trailing for a lot of the game, to get that. He's also been running really well. He's had north of 67 rushing yards in at least 3 straight games, maybe a full month. I'd have to go and check. So Tony Pollard's over in rush yards.
He was doing it against the Jags the first time before they got away from it.
Good point. So they are a gettable run defense, if history is any indicator. A correlated bet is Tyjae Spears under 4.5 rush attempts. I think the Titans are going to be trailing for a lot of this game, which means less rush attempts in terms of a game flow. And I think that the rush attempts they do throw out there will be Pollard attempts and not Tyjae Spears attempts. So I like his under. Cam Ward, give me the 2 touchdown quinfecta. That's definitely not a word, but 5 times in a row he could do it today. And over 1.5 pass touchdowns is actually plus money. So I like him to continue that trend. And then Jacksonville Jaguars over 27.5 team total. Again, I just have no faith in the Titans defense. So those 4 picks, if you're wanting to parlay them, again, Tony Pollard over 67.5 rush yards. Tyjae Spears under 4.5 rush attempts. Cam Ward over 1.5 pass touchdowns. And Jacksonville team total over 27.5 points. That should give you roughly a plus 1,000 parlay, and we can all ride it together.
Sounds good. I will definitely be tailing you on that.
All right, one last thing to do, and that is our game predictions. So in the chat on Facebook, on YouTube, like that show for us if you haven't already, and then let us know what you are predicting to see today from the Titans and the Jaguars. Again, the game, 46.5 point total. The spread is 13.5. The Jaguars are big home favorites. While you are answering that, tell you once again to like the show for us. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. We appreciate all of these things. On Facebook, join the group, add us as a friend, whatever. I'll be honest, I don't know how Facebook works. But whatever you do on Facebook, you click those buttons. Do the Facebook things. Y'all know better than I do. And with that, JT, what are folks predicting for a score in this game?
Yeah, Daniel Caribbean says Jags 32, Titans 24. 38-20 Jags, so a 18-point victory there for MB. Jags 38, Titans 6, says Terrence. 27-10 Jags. Keelan says 37-9 Jags, 42-3 Jags, 26-20 Jags, 31-30 Titans, 38-21 Jags, 23-21 Titans, Jags 38, Titans 24. 35-31 Jaguars. Daniel Caribbean says 3 touchdowns coming in for Cam here today. Jack says Titans lose by 10. Bryce Oliver, 7 catches, 137 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a rushing attempt of 16 yards.
I hope you bet that,
Big
Jack.
prediction there. William says 37-20 Jags, 45-5 Jags, safety in there. 24-21 Jaguars. Jake says it's going to be a gross one. 3-0 Jags. 35-27 Jags, 27-13 Jags, 28-17 Jaguars. I am going to go, I like that 35 number. Like, I think there is a possibility that the Jaguars score on, like, if they have 8 drives in this game. What's a normal amount of drives? I don't even know.
8 to 12.
Yeah. So like, let's say this game goes a little faster and they have 10 drives. I think they are liable to score on like
7 or 8
5 or 6 of them. Like, I do think they're going to be able to score a lot today. Yeah. And it really, I think they'll score early, which means the Titans will have to be playing from behind. So I'm going to go 35-27 Jaguars.
All right, you've got the over and the cover. So do I, just a different score. Give me 34-24. Jaguars win comfortably. Cam Ward and the offense does some, but not enough, against a team that the Titans defense simply cannot stop. That game kicks off in just 1 minute. So tune in wherever you're at, watch the game, and then jump back in here for our halftime show, and then jump back in again after the game for our post-game show. We'll be breaking it all down, reviewing what happened around the league and how it impacts the Titans going into the offseason, which starts for us in just about 3 hours. Enjoy the game. Enjoy the other games if you're watching those too. And we'll see you back here in 90 minutes for the halftime show.